Women make up 70% of the healthcare workforce, but only 20% of its leadership. On Her Story, we'll explore the careers of bold and influential women from Silicon Valley to Capitol Hill and learn how they've overcome the odds. I'm your host, Sangela Jane, and this is Her Story, a program where we explore what's beyond the glass ceiling.
From the Steve Jobs to the Oprah Winfreys, people find entrepreneurs fascinating. There is a constant stream of media, from movies to books, about the stories of founders. This is because, in hindsight, innovation can seem both inevitable and unpredictable. People want to know how entrepreneurs came to their vision. How did they see what others couldn't? And why did they take the risk? For this episode, we will hear stories from 3 founders and explore why they chose to take the leap. To begin, we will hear from Ivelisse Andino, the founder and CEO of Radical Health. Next, we will listen to Carolyn Whitty, the co-founder and CEO of Tia. And to wrap up, we will turn to Salome Tibabu. She is the founder and host of Going Digital Behavioral Health Tech, as well as the founder and CEO of Cognific. Let's hear from Ivelisse about what she was looking for in the community-based conversations that inspired her to found Radical Health.
I think I was looking for solidarity, or I was looking at maybe to be heard myself. So I talk about, I worked in health tech, I worked in oncology with biotech, and my mom had cancer at the time while I was working in the middle of this industry. She got diagnosed with cancer. And it was just so hard to be in the middle, literally in the middle of this system, seeing drugs that came through from the FDA, being rolled out, and hearing all these success stories of people choosing elective, treatment options. And then seeing my mom in a Bronx hospital, without any of those options. I never even met her attending. And it's one of those things that to be in the middle of that and to feel so alone, but then go to work every day and be at the forefront of innovation and tech. And I'm changing this, and we're doing all these great things, but knowing that no, that's never reaching me. One, it just felt really lonely, and it felt really isolating. And I knew I was only imagining, if it's so hard for me and I'm quick-witted and I'm smart and I have resources, I can't be alone in this. And I think the contrast was also that everyone at work was like, this is great. It's working so well. Hooray. Let's keep going. And so I think in those initial conversations, I was really looking to be heard, to make sure that I wasn't imagining something, or this wasn't just a unique experience to me, that navigating the healthcare system was hard and it was difficult. And even though I had all the tips and tricks and tools, it still was unfair and unjust. So I think in those conversations, I wanted to be heard. And what I found, which was the magic, was that in looking for my own just to fact check or double check my own feelings, so many other people felt that way. And it wasn't just community members who I already anticipated that maybe there'd people who maybe their parents themselves, they lived it. But then I started hearing from folks who were in healthcare or in kind of side industries saying, oh no, it's just as bad from the inside and the outside, and you're not alone in this.
Ivelisse saw the vast innovation in the biotech industry, but found that those innovations weren't reaching members of her community, including her mother. Next, we will hear from Carolyn Whitty about the decision path that led to Tia.
While on that journey, went through my own set of women's healthcare challenges in my early 20s, living in New York City, working at the time, Google's creative lab there. And it was a 3-year-long PCOS diagnosis process. So PCOS is an endocrine disorder that affects 1 in 10 women. It's a leading cause of infertility, diabetes, heart disease, a lot of chronic conditions that impact women disproportionately. And it's one of those classic chronic conditions that are really hard to diagnose, that is a hodgepodge set of symptoms that constantly get, let's say, stuck between the cracks of traditional healthcare. It's sort of an OBGYN issue, but it's sort of an, fertility issue. It's sort of a endocrine, primary care, where is it? And so you kind of get stuck. And anyone who's been through a diagnosis process or treatment for a disease or a chronic issue understands those challenges of feeling like a number, trying to navigate the system. And there I was, in my early 20s trying to do this with, I often say, Google Health Insurance, which is the best health insurance you can really get, and couldn't figure it out. I couldn't do it. Then finally, diagnosed myself and got through this. And after all that, asked myself, if I can't navigate healthcare, how does any other woman navigate this? This was like clearly not designed for women. I felt like a number. That's so fragmented. There's no soul. There's no brand or trust. This is a very intimate part of my life, and it felt highly transactional. There was, after this whole, diagnosis saga, then there was no real action plan on what to do about it. No focus on prevention. And so I asked myself, well, what if I took this playbook around user-centric design, building brands that are rooted in humanity and trust and relationships, and applied that to the most important things in people's lives, their health, and specifically women's health.
Carolyn's experience was dehumanizing and frustrating. She knew that there was a better, patient-centered way to deliver women's healthcare. To wrap up, we will turn to Solomé Tibebu to learn about her first entrepreneurial endeavor as a teenager.
How did it start? So I had really bad anxiety and obsessive compulsive disorder issues when I was younger as an adolescent. The anxiety was just so overwhelming, panic attacks on a regular basis in middle school, running to the counseling office several times a day. And then the OCD was really challenging because still today, OCD is so misunderstood. And even at the time, I didn't know what I was experiencing. So you can imagine how challenging that was for me to even share that with parents or other people who could help me. And so it was challenging to manage it. And it was a really, impactful part of my life. And so that's when later in high school, as I was trying to figure out resources online just to find other teens like me who were going through what I was going through, I wasn't able to find much. So I decided to create that resource myself, which I creatively named anxietyinteens.org.
Solomé lacked the resources she needed as a teenager, and so became the change she wanted to see. Each of these women were at different ages and different points of their life and career. And on their journey, each founder faced unique challenges and uncertainties. However, they were all certain that an element of our healthcare system was broken and needed to be fixed. Their vision was driven by a need to fill an unfilled niche in the ecosystem. These founders are not women with superhuman abilities. They are people dedicated to enacting change. We hope this episode left you with an appreciation for a founder's vision and maybe even the inspiration to be a founder yourself. Follow her story to hear more conversations with female leaders and expand the vision for what is possible in healthcare. Season 3 of Her Story launches on January 5th. And if you want to hear more stories from founders, Think Medium launched a new show called Day Zero, which features the engaging voices of entrepreneurs and their ambition, goals, and dreams for healthcare.